Welcome back to another incredible Reddit stories compilation. Today we're diving into r/Lifeprotips with 11 amazing stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Subscribe for more daily content. This story is titled LPT. If you want to break a bad habit, increase the friction by 10 seconds. Posted by u/comfortablewave4382. This sounds silly, but adding just a tiny bit of difficulty makes habits way easier to break. For example, put snacks on a high shelf, move apps into a folder 2 pages away, keep your vape in another room, leave your credit card in your jacket. Instead of wallet, that extra 10 seconds gives your brain time to cancel the impulse. This story is titled LPT. You can make tons of delicious popcorn on the stovetop for very cheaply, in about as much time as it takes to microwave it. Posted by u/Easmussin. Our next tale is absolutely wild. Here's a method for making popcorn on the stovetop, and it's foolproof, tasty, and extremely cheap. Get a big pot with a lid. Pour a splash of canola oil in the bottom and, this is key, put in 1 popcorn kernel. Turn the heat on and swirl it around. The oil should just be enough to cover the bottom of the pot. When the single kernel pops, it means the oil is hot enough. Pour in 14 to 12 cup of popcorn kernels. 12 cup makes a lot, so only do that if you have a big pot. Put the lid back on. The popcorn will sizzle. Give the pot a gentle horizontal shake every few seconds. This helps keep an even heat distribution. Within 30 seconds everything will start popping like crazy. Keep giving gentle shakes every few seconds. Within 2 minutes you'll hear popping slow down. Turn the heat off and let the final kernels pop. Take the lid off when things quiet down. You're done. Add whatever toppings you like. I think olive oil and garlic salt is the best, total time like 5 minutes. And it makes a huge pile of popcorn for about 50 cents. It's light, fluffy, and perfect. There's really no reason to ever buy microwave popcorn or bags of pre-popped popcorn. Just a couple edits for fun. Yes, I know the concept of stovetop popcorn is not a new, earth-shattering idea. But this method makes it pretty simple to get great results. And the 1 kernel trick to make sure the oil temp is always perfect is something I had never heard before, and figured a lot of people wouldn't know about it. There are a couple gadgets that make microwaving popcorn or stovetop popcorn easier, but this method is so easy it really doesn't seem like you need to purchase any extra gadgets. A couple other nice benefits: less trash, no need to microwave plastics, or the microwave popcorn bags, and you can experiment with different seasonings and oils. Knowing how to make a cheap, easy, tasty, and relatively healthy snack is just generally a useful thing. Update 2. Several people suggested just putting kernels in a bowl, putting a plate on it, and microwaving. I just tried that and my results were pretty poor. Half the kernels didn't pop. And the ones that did had a dry, stale, slightly burnt flavor to them. And it was definitely less scent, because I had to listen closely and try to guess when the popping was going to stop. I think because you can't shake while it's cooking, some get in a hot zone and pop really quickly, which then leaves them to dry out and burn as they wait for the rest of the kernels. So if you've been doing the bowl method, I really think you should try the stovetop method. I think you'll have better results. I didn't try the bag method yet, since I don't have any lunch bags laying around. This story is titled LPT. Buy or keep an old Android phone and use it for online purchases to avoid dynamic pricing. Posted by u/PleaseANotreDame. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. Many online retailers practice dynamic pricing, where they adjust prices based on who they think is shopping. People who they think will or can pay more may be shown higher prices. One proven way this is done is by noting which device you are using to access the site. A new iPhone is an indication the user has more financial resources or is willing to spend more. An old Android phone is an indication that a user may not have as much to spend. Source: one of many. https Spyboy. Blog 20,241,124 Unfair pricing tactics targeting iPhone users. The story is titled LPT. Don't accept quiet subscription price increases. Ask support for a courtesy credit. You'd be shocked how often they say yes. Posted by u/Montenragnon in 1992. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. I only learned this recently, but it blew my mind. Some app streaming services quietly bump up your monthly fee, and because the email is buried somewhere in your spam folder from 6 months ago, you don't notice until your bank statement looks weird. I thought I was screwed, but I messaged support, and literally said something like, "Hey, I didn't realize the price had increased. Is there any chance you can retroactively credit me, or adjust my plan?" And they actually did. They refunded 3 months of the higher price, and put me back on the cheaper plan. Apparently a bunch of companies have some kind of retention credit or courtesy adjustment they can apply, but they're not going to volunteer that info. You have to ask. It obviously doesn't work every time, but it's worth trying before you eat the cost. I've done this now with 3 different services, and all of them gave me something back. This story is titled LPT. If you want people to actually help you at work, show that you understood them first. Posted by u/KeenlyandWanderer. This next story will blow your mind. I used to think that asking for help at work was just about explaining my problem clearly and waiting for a solution. Turns out that wasn't really the issue at all. What actually changed things for me was slowing down and repeating back what I understood from the other person before asking anything. Not in some robotic corporate way, just like, okay, so if I got this right, the main issue is X, and the reason Y keeps breaking is because of Z. Half the time they would nod and instantly soften up. Sometimes they would even correct me and add extra details they didn't mention before, or just forgot. What surprised me is how often people don't feel heard even in pretty normal work conversations. Once I started doing this, people became way more willing to help, explain stuff deeper, or even take ownership of the issue with me. It stopped feeling like I was dumping a problem on them, and more like we were already on the same side working it out. I also noticed fewer passive-aggressive replies and way less annoying back-and-forth emails. This also works when you disagree with someone. Instead of jumping straight into why something won't work, showing that you actually understood their thinking first changes the whole dynamic. You don't have to agree with them, but people are way more open once they feel understood. Took me way too long to learn this, and I still forget to do it sometimes, but when I remember, work just gets noticeably easier. This story is titled LPT. If you're having trouble walking away from arguments online, remind yourself that the person you're about to fight with is probably just a child or a teenager. Posted by u/1000Livilzeals. Let's dive into another shocking story. I've struggled with this for a long time, being something of a debate bro online. And every time that happens I come out of it feeling worse than when I went in. Lately I've been managing it a lot better, and all I do is this. When I see somebody say the dumbest thing ever that makes me want to just start arguing with them, I just remind myself that in all likelihood, this is just a 12-year-old, and I get embarrassed about the idea that I'm about to call a child a moron for not knowing stuff. For a while I was pissed over how angsty, cocky, and just abrasive people were on pretty much the whole site. But it helped recontextualize that when I realized that it's probably just young people, because young people usually have those emotions. I just end up not wanting to ruin a kid's day just because they're having a kid moment online. I remember going online as a 12-year-old saying stupid shit, and somebody who was, in all likelihood, an adult calling me names, and then wanting to cry in real life over it. I'm sure others can relate. This story is titled LPT Request. What's your underrated trick for making an apartment feel bigger than it is? Posted by u/Accomplished291. Our next story is equally fascinating. One thing I learned after years of living in smaller spaces is that it's rarely about the actual square footage, it's how your stuff guides people through the room. My most underrated trick has been creating tiny zones that make the space feel intentional instead of cramped. For example, I used to keep everything on my kitchen counter. So the whole front half of the apartment felt like a clutter wall. Once I moved a few things around, even something as small as shifting my little drink setup. I keep a cocktail maker there now for drinks. But honestly, it used to just be a random assortment of mugs and glasses. It completely opened up the flow. It's nice how much bigger a room feels when surfaces aren't doing 12 jobs at once. I also started pushing furniture just a couple inches off the walls instead of flush against them. It creates the illusion of breathing room without actually sacrificing any usable space. Same with using taller and narrower shelves instead of wide, low ones. But what's the thing you do that instantly makes a small apartment feel larger? Could be layout, lighting, storage hacks, whatever. I'm always hunting for those tricks that make a huge difference. This story is titled LPT Request. How can I learn to shut up and listen? Posted by you/Marcian Tulip. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. For all my life, I've realized that I constantly interrupt people and talk more than my fair share of the time. I have a healthy social life, but I am aware it is rude. I'm really interested in everyone's opinion, but I always associate things they say with my past experiences or knowledge. I'll know what they are going to say before they finish. I go on a yapping rant. How can I become a more active listener? This story is titled LPT, How to Be Consistent at Working Out Gym, posted by you/Kafk. Let's dive into another shocking story. So recently, I started working out, and it's been 2 months, and I found it hard to be consistent. Because laziness is a huge factor, because you are introducing yourself into something entirely new, picking up again. So here are some tricks that I did with my mind. Remind yourself that you will never regret going to the gym working out. Ask yourself this: when was there ever a day that you regretted working out? In fact, the days that you regret are more of not working out. Environmental factor. The hardest part about starting is more likely due to the traveling rather than being in the gym itself. I caught this pretty early. Because the vibes in the gym will make you automatically just want to start. Never do home workouts if you are just starting. Go to your nearest park fitness corner and plug some hype music. You will see the difference immediately. Mindset. If you were to look in a long-term viewpoint, in a month, you only need to hit, for example, legs 4 times. That's once a week. It isn't that hard, is it? And over the course of 3 months, you only do it 12 times, and there is already progression. It isn't that hard, but you have to stop giving yourself excuses. Good luck out there. This story is titled LPT, Bring an Extra Roku, or Firestick. When you travel, posted by you/Ninskar. Our next story is equally fascinating. So, easy to plug in a TV at a hotel or Airbnb. And all of your accounts are already logged in. Plus, don't have to worry about putting your info and having to log out towards the end. Plus, don't have to watch hotel cable. Such a small thing to pack, but makes such a difference. This story is titled LPT, Beard Oil Works Great on Unruly Eyebrows, posted by you/Can'tLiveAnywhere. And now for our final story of today. So, after about 10 years of using beard oil, I finally noticed that the hair in my eyebrows are kind of the same texture and thickness as my beard, which had only been tamed by beard oil to that point. One morning, I just decided to put beard oil on my eyebrows because I was noticing I wanted the flow of the hair to get a certain flow, and it was working on my sideburns. I said, okay, why not put this on my eyebrows? And it works fantastic. And I realized I never put that together, that you can use beard oil on eyebrows. So I just wanted to share that with you and the world. Please tell me how silly this is and that this is illegal on 38 states. Also makes a great subtle holiday gift for your man. Beard or no beard. Not a plug, no branding here. That wraps up today's incredible Reddit Stories compilation. If you enjoyed these amazing tales, hit like and subscribe for more daily content. What was your favorite story? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.